Spoilers, 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 okay. We're spoiling stuff. Chapter 227. If you don't want it, get out of here. Thank you to our $5 patrons, Red Bull 4765, Midnight Gem Lord, and Sean. Another thank you to our $3 members, Wakanda Plays, and Red Bull 4765. And a very big thank you to our $10 patrons, Robbie Uchiha and iDemo Kami. And a very big thank you to our $25 member, Alex Ice Rose. Before we have this breakdown slash kind of live, I mean, sort of, thoughts on the spoilers for chapter 227 of Jujutsu Kaisen. Please remember, leave your own thoughts on the spoilers in the comment section down below. Leave a like and subscribe if you haven't already. Also hit that notification bell to miss out on any videos that come to the channel. Also, I do have a Patreon down below, each over as low as $1 a month. You get the exclusive videos, early content, and more. Also, now become a member of the channel for as low as $3 a month to get the same perks and more. Now, let's hop into the spoiler discussion. What's up, guys? All Punsy here, and gay. What is this, bro? Like that editor's note was not lying. That editor's note straight up was not lying, because is this even common sense? Something's not prevailing in the battle of the strongest, and it's my brain. I don't know. Maybe I'm just not smart enough for this. Call me Kusakabe. I just don't get what's going on. But let's not waste any more time. Let's hop right into it. Greetings, ladies and gentlemen. If the lighting looks a little bit off, it's literally because my light is broken. Like, give me a second. I'll get a new one later. I didn't realize it was broken. I thought it was fine, but no, it's broken. So we're gonna be talking about some darkness and some darkness. So it'd be like that when it'd be like that sometimes. Speaking of it be like that, I keep it on me at all times. So if I didn't know this chapter worthy, this blade going to come out. But once again, I'm working with raws with like some minor translation stuff. So like, if I get things wrong, I get things wrong. I am notorious for getting things wrong, even when I have the right stuff. So don't be shocked. Especially considering this chapter, if my first read through of these raws is anything to indicate, I'm probably going to get a lot of stuff wrong. But let's not waste any more time. First things first, this color page. What is with the... I like the main drawings themselves. I love the way Yuji looks in here. I love all the extra details in his hair. I love the shading and the gradients on that. I love the way Sukuna looks, even though, once again, still mad disappointed we're not getting four-armed Sukuna, especially considering, I think someone said, I forget where I read this, but I think the battle's only supposed to last like 3 or 4 more chapters. So, like, we just aren't getting four-armed Sukuna? Like, bro, please, at least get it. Give us to it. Give us to it. Give it to us. Look at my English. I can't even forget reading the chapter. I can't even speak. But please give us four-armed Sukuna. Please. Maybe we're just saving it. Maybe we are literally just saving it or something like that. Please give me four-armed Sukuna. And I like the way Gojo looks, even though his eyes look oddly small. But, like, overall, this is a really, really quality color page. But just the background that throws me off. Like, the yellow, the purple, the orange. Like, I know some of these are complementary colors, but, like, you couldn't have picked a better shade of yellow. Like, that yellow looks like... You know what it looks like. You know what that yellow looks like. It looks like... It doesn't look like that yellow. It looks like... It's like someone had a bladder burst. But regardless, enough of the color page. Let's hop right into the chapter itself. And we open up, and we do get to see that apparently Kusakabe is like, dog. No lie. I mean, I'm happy it worked, because that means he's alive. But how the heck did he even do that? Like, how did he use RCT to restore his burnt out curse technique? Like, what? And to be fair, I don't blame Kusakabe for being confused, because, like, one, this has never happened in the entire series as far as we know, except for what I think Sukuna did after using his domain in Shibuya. I think this chapter kind of just confirms that, even if it doesn't say that. When Sukuna went from domain to shutting down domain to pulling out the flame arrow, I think he just used RCT to immediately restore his technique. I think that's what happened there. I think there's no other way to interpret that, because it's kind of what's implied with this chapter. Maybe I'm reading too far into it, but that's how I see it. And we see that Yuta kind of explains, like, I mean, you don't have RCT, so you don't know what that'd be like. And 2 is kind of like, let's see, Yuta says obviously not impossible since Gojo just showed it, but usually it's like an engine getting overheated. One has to wait until it's cooled down for use. So essentially, if I had to figure out a way to explain it, let me see, do these pseudo-raws explain it? Maki ended up asking, RCT can fix, but it can't cool down, right? Yuta says that's what he thought until now, but his understanding of it wasn't enough. But Yuta starts to worry that Gojo might be doing something that seems an overwhelming task right now. So, the big thing, the juicy thing here, is that RCT can essentially be used as a cooling liquid. Before, I considered RCT sort of something like just natural regeneration. Like, it's just something that you can do if you have the cursed energy to spare. And if you have enough of it, you can pull off crazy stuff like surviving not infinite void, surviving Malevolent Shrine, and or if you're Hikari, regrowing limbs, if you have that much cursed energy to spare. But it seems like RCT, in the similar way that it has already been established to have multiple functions, one, fueling reverse curse techniques, like not like RCT, but like actual reverse curse techniques like Red, two, general healing, and three, the negation of regular cursed energy through positive cursed energy or positive energy. It seems like four, it can now be used as a cooling thing on cursed techniques. And that kind of does make sense. And I think it's why you could kind of see characters of super high level realizing that. Because if it can be used to heal the body, and the body is a part of the soul, and the soul is an integral part of why a cursed technique operates, why couldn't RCT just fix your technique? I mean, it works. Like don't get me wrong. It's not like it seems a bit off. It seems a bit crazy just because it hasn't been done before. But once again, you got to realize, I mean, Gojo may still not be able to heal people, but he probably is one of the best RCT users in the verse. Like, I don't think there's much debate behind that. Like, if I'm being completely real, because who else is there? Sukuna, obviously, probably number one. If we're going off sheer things, Sukuna can do everything. He can heal himself and others, and likely restore his own burnt out technique, which is something that only Gojo's been able to do. Then I'd say it's the top four are probably Yuta, Gojo. It depends if you want to say Yuta's higher because he can heal other people, but I clearly think he doesn't because he admits he doesn't understand as well as Gojo. So probably number one is Sukuna Gojo. Like that's those two. I give Sukuna number one in pure RCT usage because, you know, more ancient. Then Gojo. Then probably Yuta because, you know, he can use it to heal himself and others. And then Shoko. Shoko can do the highest level of it, which is healing others. But I don't think it's like too crazy. I don't think we have never seen her have to heal herself though. So who knows? Maybe she can. But with that being the case, the next question is, well, what's next? Obviously, I made a whole video talking about it. Like, okay. You have Sukuna seemingly enough on the ropes. What you gonna do, Gojo? But we do get to see Gojo's talking about something, but it's in a language I can't read. so it's a bad chance of that. But it seems like Malevolent Shrine was shut down. Or at least, if I had to take a guess, maybe it wasn't actually shut down, but the range of it was super duper small. But then again, Sukuna re-engage, because like here's the thing, on the panel, we see Gojo standing at the edge of like a hole in the ground. Like a straight divot in the ground. And I think that's the remnants of his domain. And the reason I say that is because we've seen how Malevolent Shrine works. It flattens everything. It doesn't actually create an indent in the ground. Because since there's no barrier, there's no actual spear. So like, it's weird to say this, but I think Sukuna's 200-meter radius, while it is functioned like a spear, it doesn't actually like dig into the ground at all. It just flattens and levels out. And we saw Malevolent Shrine seemingly fall out of Gojo's domain. So I think that's what happened here. So maybe the Malevolent Shrine's influence was only limited to the area of Gojo's domain or slightly outside of it so it could collapse. But then Sukuna reactivates domain. Like he just immediately goes for it again. So one, that does kind of confirm that it seems like Sukuna can do it too. Or else, why would he? I mean, maybe he's just expanding the range of his domain. Like, once again, if you think that relative to where Gojo's standing, he's just safe outside the range of the Malevolent Shrine that Sukuna set up, maybe he's just growing it and he's not actually reactivating it. But regardless, Sukuna does end up double dipping in domains. And once again, this does seem like the most logical thing to do. Everything else that he's used hasn't worked. Sure, he hasn't used much in terms of what we know he does have. Like, the Ten Shadows technique has yet to be pulled out. So, that's still up in the air. Once again, no maximum, no fire. But this is the most effective way to beat Gojo. Because he knows Gojo's not going to suddenly whip out a barrierless domain. Like, Gojo's crazy, but he's not that crazy in terms of just sheer proficiency. So, why not just reopen domain? Or expand it? It's clear that while Gojo could handle it, he could find a way around it. It wasn't perfect. It wasn't the best thing that he could hypothetically do. One thing we don't get in this chapter, at least I think when I'm looking at the Raws and the slight translations we have for the Raws, I don't think we get an explanation for why Gojo could use Reversal Red, a technique inside Sukuna's domain, when domains neutralize all techniques. But I'm still just going to go with my headcanon that if you're using reverse curse energy, since it is positive energy, it cancels out the cancellation effect. Like, it's a double negative. So you can use reverse curse techniques. You can use things like red. You can use things like red. Have we seen other, like, I don't think we have. Have we ever seen other reverse curse techniques? Like, techniques fueled by positive energy? I don't think we have. So, like, you can use something like red or any other hypothetical reverse curse technique fueled ability because it has the cancellation effect against cursed energy. So the cancellation effect of the domain against the cancellation effect of RCT, boom, double cancellation. You don't get it. Like, no one wins except for the person who's using the RCT technique, because their cancellation overrides your cancellation. And that's the only thing I'm going for, mainly because these Raws don't address it. Maybe it'll be addressed in the main chapter, because a lot of people were asking about that after the last chapter. And I didn't really have an answer outside that little headcanon of mine. But with that being the case, Gojo opens domain back. And why? Oh. Okay. Why? No, legit though. Well, I mean, it's good to know that, and once again, just going off the headcanon, that Malevolent Shrine actually was shut down. We don't see the construct disappear. Like, the original construct is still there. The original shrine is still there. So once again, maybe the domain isn't actually shut down and Sukuna's just expanding it. But it's good to know that hitting Sukuna with his shrine, or throwing Sukuna into the shrine, did shut it down. Gojo, why would you open domain? Like, notably, we get a reason why he opens domain. But, like, leave. Bro, just leave. And, like, maybe it really is just a pride thing. Maybe it's just like, I'm not gonna run. But dude, leave and fire a hollow purple. See what that does. Like, legitimately, I would just start experimenting. Call me Gojo Satoru, and I'm not staying and doing that again. Like, sir, I was able to maintain it, and seemingly enough, Gojo didn't get to keep his cool looking scar. Like, I thought he was going to keep the scars. I thought that was going to be like a permanent thing, but no. Gojo's fully back to just being pure handsome. So the Gojo fans are screaming, and let me not say the other one, but they're having a ball right now. But, like, dude, why? Like, even with what he does in this chapter, that seems like the least logical move if Sukuna can open domain again. If, like I said, if Sukuna couldn't instantly open domain, that's when you do it. You immediately go, what is it? Ryoki Tenkai. What is this? Morio Kurosu. Like, go with that. Go with the Unlimited Void then. But if he can open domain again, don't. You don't want the, like, admittedly, as a Gojo Glazer, not a Sukuna slopper, I can wholeheartedly admit we have the Carfax. Sukuna is just a better domain user. And that's it. What can I say? He's just a better domain user. There's no real ifs, ands, or buts about that. It's just true. Okay? So, buddy, buckaroo, pal, amigo, why are you engaging in another domain battle? Especially considering Sukuna opens his domain first. Like, if I'm Gojo, before the domain is fully formed, gone. I'm not in the same area code no more. I'm not in the same city. I'm looking at you all the way from where, I don't know which city they're actually fighting in, I forget. But I'm in another city. Or at least I'm outside the 200-meter range, and I'm starting to hit you with a hollow purple, dog. Like, I'm just gonna swing on you again with another hollow purple and see what it be like. I want to see how it interacts, because once again, this is the time to experiment. This is not the time to directly engage. And I suppose Gojo does experiment, because what actually happens, right? Because sure, maybe me, I'm the coward. I'm not Satoru Gojo. I don't got the 6 eyes. I don't got the experience. I ain't got none of that. So we see that everyone's kind of wondering, specifically Ino's like, what? Is he really just gonna go bar for bar again? When Sukuna won the last rap battle? Like, what's going on here? And we see that Choco's like, I mean, nah, Gojo ain't like that. She says he's not like that in like a good way, not that he's not like that in a bad way. And we see that Higuruma noticed that the conditions of the domain are switched, meaning that the inside of the barrier is weak to attacks, but not the outside. Meaning that in the cancellation period inside the, like, how does he, I guess he can just tell by seeing what's happening with the domain. But essentially what works in Gojo's favor now is that since inside the domain they're evenly matched to the point where their cursed technique effects don't activate. They both cancel each other out. They're sure hits. Now they're basically just fighting with a stat buff. That's just what they're doing, which is pretty impressive. Like, I mean, I guess, but even still, I don't think that's worth it. Like, I guess you have no other option to at this point, because Sukuna has no reason to not just like just keep pooping out domain until he runs out of cursed energy. But dog, I'm not playing on the. I don't know. Maybe I'm just a cheater. Maybe I would just cheat, because I would not be engaging with this man, especially since I know, like, so presumably the 6 Signs have told Gojo everything there is to know about Malevolent Shrine, including the fact that it has a 200-meter range. So if I'm Gojo, like, how far is 200 meters? I ran the 100-meter dash, so 200 meters. A 200? Yeah, 200 is not even. That's what. Not even that's an eighth of a mile, right? Am I tripping? Because 1600 is a mile, so 200, yeah, it's like an eighth of a mile. Just go an eighth of a mile away. Like, I know this seems crazy to say, but once again, we've seen Gojo literally teleport across the country. Like, he was buried in an ocean trench somewhere and then teleported halfway away. I think he can do an eighth of a mile. I think Gojo can do a quick little 200-meter dash with a. So, like, why engage like this? If anything, as Sukuna's going to do it, I'd leave. So he just has to move the shrine. Because once again, since Gojo knows now, he has the DLC, he understands that, oh, the center point isn't Sukuna, it's the shrine. There's no reason to stay within 200 meters of the shrine. Just keep moving. And then even if Sukuna chases you and he's like, hey, come back here, he keeps opening domain, he's just going to keep opening domain to no avail. Because I'm just going to be. Call me Toto, because I'm about to make it clap. Like, legitimately, I'm gone every single time. Because then you get to control the battle on your terms. Because the thing is, in a domain battle, no matter how creative and kooky Gojo gets, like this is creative and kooky, flipping the conditions of the barrier, presumably like switching up a binding vow like this, then that is a little kooky crazy, but you're still dealing with Sukuna, who's a better barrier, or I suppose a better domain user, because he's not, his barrier's weird. So with that being the case, I don't know, Gojo, that seems a little bit off. And now, of course, Kusakabe is wondering, like, yo, how is Gojo just able to do this nonsense? Because that's obviously cheating, like the ability to switch the conditions. But I suppose, once again, obviously there was that editor's note, oh, common sense won't prevail in the battle of the strongest. Yeah, whatever. That's an excuse for bad writing. But to try and give this some good writing, to try and, like, salt-based sprinkle some logic over this, I think it's mainly because the way Gojo could perceive how his domain works is that it's kind of like a multi-step process. And we know that Gojo's so good with his domain that he can sort of instantaneously do the process to where he doesn't have to wait for the barrier to form for his technique to activate. So, like, the process for opening a door, right? You go over to the door, you grab the doorknob, you twist the doorknob, and then you pull the door open. What's the process for closing a door? You go over to the door, grab the doorknob, and push the door closed. Gojo can see that step process, or understand that step process, with the 6 Eyes and his own processing power. So he can essentially change the order of the steps to get a different result. So say you tell Gojo to go open the door, he's gonna open it, but he's gonna open it in the way that he's closing it. Like, it doesn't make sense, but it kind of does. I have no idea. Like, legitimately, it is kind of nonsense. But still, I feel like it's something like that, where Gojo understands the full steps of the process and, like, what results will come at the end of certain steps. So he'll just rearrange the steps. So he's inverse the way the barrier works. And this does kind of lead to an idea I've been thinking about for a while. You know something we haven't seen? A reverse cursed domain. You know what I mean? Like, we've never seen a domain fueled by positive energy. So, like, maybe that's something like this. Maybe what Gojo ended up doing was, like, fueling his domain with reverse curse energy, and that's how he managed to reverse the condition. Maybe that's the other way, because it has the opposite effect, because it's positive energy versus negative energy. I have no idea. I'm trying to, like, once again, I'm trying to salt-based sprinkle some logic on it. I'll wait till the full chapter's out, because it'll probably give a better explanation than I ever could. But with that being the case, we see that Gojo and Sukuna immediately get active. And this is interesting, because once again, a big thing that Sukuna fans have been going on about right now, and I don't even blame them, because I kind of agree with them, Sukuna hasn't really been going all out. You know what I'm saying? Like at least it doesn't seem, and notably, I don't think Gojo has either. But it's interesting. Like, why? At least for Sukuna's case. Especially considering how he views Gojo, if you can just one-tap him, why not? Know what I'm saying? Like, know what I'm saying? Like, these two immediately go to playing patty cake again. Like, don't get me wrong. Some good old-fashioned Gege patty cake is fantastic. Like, I love the way that you see Sukuna blocks the hit from Gojo. Specifically, like, I don't know, if you're ever about to get punched and you really want to mess someone's fist up, just raise your elbow and let them hit you right here. It's going to hurt you a lot. I don't know, it hurts me every time I do it because my elbows hurt. But it'll drastically jack up their fist because they're punching a point. But like Sukuna does that when Gojo goes to pop. Like presumably Gojo's about to smack the taste out of Sukuna's mouth. But then in that same motion, he ends up grabbing Gojo's kick. So Gojo kind of went for like a I can't demonstrate it because I'm not about to embarrass myself live on camera like this. But he kind of like kicked and went to slap at the same time, and Sukuna grabs the kick, throws it off as he blocks the hit. So this is really good choreography. And you see Gojo immediately starts to switch up to more punches instead of literally just smacking Sukuna. And we see that now Sukuna is starting to hit Gojo with actual attacks. They aren't doing any damage though. Like they're being noticed. Like Gojo has a exclamation point. I was about to say exclamation point. But no, he does just have two. So he does get shocked and caught off guard, but it's not for anything all too crazy because, well, it's not doing much damage. Like, admittedly, for hits from the King of Curses at 20 fingers. And once again, people keep saying that, oh, he's only 19 fingers. Go reread. I know I didn't review the chapter yet, but go reread. I believe it's 221. Or, no, not 221. That's definitely not 221. But it's a recent chapter. Go reread. Sukuna says he has 19 official fingers, and then he eats the mummy for that last bit. So he is 20 finger. People keep trying to like fact check me and being like, oh, well, actually 19 fingers. Actually, he's not a full power. Actually, he doesn't have all of it. Yes. But if you read, he is the equivalent to 20 finger Sukuna. Like, I get it. I'm illiterate too. I can't read. But like, don't call me out for being illiterate if you didn't even read. But whatever. We do get to see that domain amplification while using domain expansion is possible for Sukuna. Now, to drizzle some copium on this too, because like obviously this is once again more of common sense won't prevail in the battle of the strongest. This one kind of makes sense to me because remember, Sukuna isn't the center point of his shrine. Well, no, the center of the domain isn't Sukuna. It's the shrine. So the shrine is probably the main thing that maintains Malevolent Shrine. Shock horror, the shrine maintains the shrine. And thusly, what I assume is happening here is that while Sukuna's wilding out, having a good old time, he's allowed to do whatever he wants with his technique because the shrine is the one maintaining it. And that's why when the shrine took the tiniest little itty bitty whiff of damage or came in contact with Sukuna, it seemingly enough stopped. Or the range, or whatever. Like, once again, I'll wait till the official chapter comes out, because Gojo does say something, but the slight translation that I have for the Raws isn't there. So I'm going to assume the shrine did stop. That's why Gojo was able to heal up and stand outside the edge or whatever. So, going with that, it makes sense that Sukuna can use domain amplification, because what's being maintained about his technique right now isn't tied to him. I'm assuming how it works is that when Sukuna uses domain expansion, he gives a set amount of cursed energy to the shrine. So the shrine is able to produce the shrine technique autonomously for as long as the shrine is intact and as long as it still has cursed energy. Considering how much cursed energy Sukuna is implied to have, once again, just taking Yuta's statement here, whatever, even if it's not true, twice the amount of Yuta's, it's not going to run out of cursed energy anytime soon. And if the shrine has half the efficiency Sukuna does, even though it's throwing out countless cleaves and dismantles, still not too much. Nothing too crazy. So it makes sense that the shrine could last independently of Sukuna's will, and that's how he's able to use domain amplification, which should shut down his technique. Though once again, Sukuna, you're in domain, bro. Just keep it. Just hit him. Like if you're able to. Well, actually, I guess he can't. He can't because the sure hits are being canceled out. So I guess it works out. So now they really are just reduced to fisticuffs. Sukuna, grow an extra pair of arms, bro. Like legitimately, just grow 2 more limbs. Just you don't even have to fully revert to your old self, because maybe you think you were ugly. Maybe you looked in the mirror one day and was like, I really don't like this face. He did literally call Megami's mug more handsome, and Megami looks way different than him in comparison to how Yuji looked. So just grow 2 extra arms, bro. Start mixing Gojo that way, please, bro, because we do get to see that while Sukuna does have the edge in the sense that he can use, obviously, domain amplification to get up in there to get active, he does get caught off guard by something, and Gojo just swings in. Like, he straight up was like, I bet. So you can hit me, dog. And proceeds to just immediately start swinging. And we see that Gojo actually starts to get a pretty decent upper hand. Like, I mean, at least from what it seems to me, because Gojo hits him with the straight jab, like a solid jab. And then we see this is one of the smoothest weaves we've ever seen, because Sukuna goes in with the left, because he weaved the jab. So that obviously leaves that combo. You just gotta follow up, you gotta whiff punish. But Gojo, he frame canceled, weaved, went to a crouch. Sukuna whiffed the overhead, and Gojo lands the meanest rib shot. Like, you literally see Sukuna wince in pain from the shot to the ribs. And that's kind of crazy. That is a little bit crazy. And that's once again, this is just insane to me. Like, I get it. Sukuna, this is like the former, I still kind of am a Sukuna slobber. Like, you're looking at the guy who pedals 15 finger solos the rest of the verse. Like, obviously, I'm something of a Sukuna slopper myself. So, I can buy it for y'all. I can go with you, Sukuna fans. He's holding back, but, he is taking that. You can't suppress your durability, right? That's not, maybe you can, but, why would you? Sorry, y'all. It's early in the morning when I'm recording this. You gotta stay hydrated. But why would you? Why would you suppress? Why, if you could take no damage from somebody, why would you allow yourself to get tagged and stuff like that? I don't know, bro. It just feels kind of weird. But once again, this is the battle of the strongest, so it makes sense that they can harm each other. But it's wild to see Gojo bobbing, weaving, swinging, grieving. But we see that as they're fisticuffing and Sukuna rolls off the punch, Gojo's like, wait a minute. This might take a minute. What's going on? He realizes that Sukuna's must hit effect from the shrine also seems to have just turned off. So, what does that mean? Because if his shrine effect is turned off, he should be getting affected by Infinite Void. But he's not. So what's going on here? And we see that as Gojo and Sukuna are back to back, we get a flashback to what Kenny. Well, admittedly, ironically enough, I'm not sure if this is a flashback. I'm not sure this is Kenny saying it. Kenny explains that the people who don't get affected by Gojo's Infinite Void are Gojo himself and the person he's touching. Sukuna kept in touch with Gojo to survive the Void and got rid of his must-hit effect inside the domain to enhance the attack power outside Gojo's domain. So essentially, what Sukuna did was he realized that as long as the barriers were up, he was going to lose that fight. At least in my opinion, he realized that. He realized he wasn't actually going to beat the sure hit effect of Infinite Void. He simply wasn't. So he did have to maintain contact with Gojo. And the thing is, a lot of people are saying Kenny told Sukuna this, but you gotta remember, Sukuna's been inside Yuji this entire time. Gojo told Sukuna that as long as you maintain contact with him inside his own domain, you won't get damaged by it. Remember that. Way back in time to chapter 19, you can remember when Gojo used Infinite Void for the first time on Jogo. And Yuji's like, yeah, and Gojo's like, oh, well, no, but you'll be. Just keep in contact with me. And Sukuna, while he was laid up and bored inside Yuji all that time, he was listening. He has the tech. He knows what's popping. He knows what's on it popping. You know what I'm talking about? He got all the data. So keeping in contact with Gojo here is the best way to avoid it. Which is another reason why Gojo should have just left. But with that being the case, Sukuna is sort of, at least from my understanding of it, in order to break the barrier again, even though it's strong on attacks from the outside, he ended up sacking all the potency inside the domain, which is what left him vulnerable to the sure hit effect of Infinite Void, but that's why he stayed in contact with Gojo, so he wouldn't actually be vulnerable to it. And thus, all that power is now being forced onto the outside of the domain. So even though the domain was extra durable on the outside, it just shatters, which is fine. I mean, that makes sense. Because once again, if you think of it as curse energy allocation, 50% was going on inside the domain to cancel out the sure hit effect of Infinite Void. The other 50% was trying to tear out the barrier from the outside. Gojo doesn't have to worry about splitting his curse energy because he has so much of it. And on top of that, he has the 6 sides, which are really good at processing. So you really just need to brute force the outside of the domain. Only way you can brute force it is if you go 100% outside of the domain. Meet 100% with 100%, boom, barrier collapses. And the Malevolent Shrine is once again freed. However, we now know how this works, and so does Gojo, because the moment this happens, he starts to get torn up again. Due to all that, Gojo loses the domain battle against Sukuna. Yuji wonders why Kusakabe, Yuji wonders why, and Kusakabe realizes Sukuna might also change the conditions of the domain like Gojo. The interesting thing about this is that it reveals that Sukuna can live edit his domain. Which is weird, but I guess it makes sense. Like, notably, I suppose you could literally consider Malevolent Shrine like a Shikigami. Like, yeah, it can act autonomously. That's why he's able to use something like domain amplification while in his domain. But simultaneously with that being the case, he can just tell it to do something different. Like, yeah, he's allocated his curse energy to have it do certain things like this. Like, Megami can allocate the Divine Dog to do something like that. Or Yuki can allocate something for Garuda to do, or Yuta with Rika. Like, all of them have Shikigami that can follow specific commands, but at any moment they can change what the Shikigami need or want to do. So that makes sense to me. And of course, with this being the case, Gojo, technique shut down, and gets torn to pieces all over again. So once again, don't really get the play here, Gojo. Why would you re-engage in a domain battle? Even with that fancy new twist, you should have just left. I know, running is for the weak. Dude, you're not a better domain user. You should have ran. Ran and start firing purples. Like, I hate to say it. It sounds like I know y'all are gonna be like, Pencil, you would dare camp somebody out if you don't think you can beat them in a head-to-head. I play fighters. And I play Trunks. Yeah, I don't know. Like, Gojo, I get it, bro. But like, you should have camped. you should have camped. Kept changing the spawn point and just kept firing purples, bro. Because engaging in another domain battle, not the smartest idea. However, of course, considering they've done this song and dance before, it's not like Gojo couldn't have an answer to this, because he does now. And we do get to sing, oh, look who finally decided to speak up. Huh? Look who finally decided to speak up. Oh, what? Oh, what now? Oh, if Gojo loses, now you're going to step up. Huh, Kashimo? Huh? You watched the video, didn't you? One of your stands leaked it to you, huh? Oh, huh? If Gojo loses, then you'll step in. Oh, okay. Okay, Kashimo. Okay, Kashimo. There you'll step. Oh, now you're going to get active. Okay, Kashimo. So you're going to wait till Sukuna's dropped 2 domains. And now you're willing to get active, huh? Now you're willing to get active? Kashimo, nah, bro. It's too late. It's too late for this. It's too late, buddy. It's too late. You can't say you're going to get active now. You cannot say you're going to get active now, Kashimo. It is too late. It is indubitably not that time anymore. Of course you want to run up on the strong player for T. Kashimo, you're a fraud! Capital R. I forgot the F. Because you don't even deserve it. You're a fraud! Gosh, I'm so disappointed. Man. Major fraud activities. If I want to fight the strongest, I want to fight the strongest at their strongest. Not after they drop double domain. How are you even going to get there? It's not like if you can teleport. So how y'all gonna get there? But now, of course, Kashimo comes forward and says if Gojo perishes, he's really going to go out and fight Sukuna. Oh, wow! Now that he's all softened up for you, now you're willing to go fight. Dog. Can you believe this, bro? Like, maybe I am just too... Because, like, I did that poll. And a part of me, once again, like, I was talked about it in the 4 Nights video yesterday. But part of me was like, I shouldn't include a neutral option. Like, I really shouldn't include an indifferent option. Part of me was really thinking that, because I knew a bunch of people were going to go indifferent. I should have just done excited or disappointed. But, like, I'm just super disappointed in Kashimo, bro. Like, even if he has the coldest fight in the entire series after this, because he already has the top 3, at least in my opinion, like, probably a top 3, top 5 fight in the series with literally Hikari right here. But, like, major fraudulent activity, massive fraudulent activity, gargantuan fraudulent activity. You know I just got clowned on, bro. However, with that being the case, we do get to see that while Gojo is being cut up, it's not actually that deep, and they aren't actually that bad. And Kusakabe actually tells everybody that, oh, it's Falling Blossom emotion, a secret anti-domain technique passed down in the big 3 families. Gojo tells Sukuna that he had learned it while he was a kid, but he hadn't used it so far. So I guess he figures simple domain isn't good enough. I mean, I guess, whatever. I'm gonna keep switching it up. Might as well. You got options. And this, due to the nature of it, may be easier to do while using RCT to cool down your overheated engine of a technique. Because it essentially allows him to respond to the cuts as they come. Like, remember when Naobito used Falling Blossom emotion, it immediately, his curse energy responded out and tore into the Shikigami that were trying to tear him apart in Dagon's domain. But considering Gojo's going cut for cut right now, he's kind of just like slowing down the process, essentially. And thusly, it works. I mean, I guess. I would have just gone for simple domain again, especially since you were able to restore, but I guess he wasn't. He wasn't able to break that rule. He wasn't able to simultaneously restore and use simple domain at the same time. So he's using this as a roundabout way to do it. Because it's not a full anti-domain technique like simple domain where you literally constitute your own miniature domain, but it's like really close circuited. So it works. However, we see before Sukuna's able to get active, Gojo opens domain. Again. When will you learn? When will you learn that your actions have consequences? Like, Gojo. Not once, not twice, but thrice. Is third time gonna be the charm, Gojo? Is that what you're going for? Is this the meta? Is this the plan? Why 3? Especially when you could just, well, I guess maybe he can't. Maybe, but then again, reverse boop. Like, if you could use red inside a domain, why can't you use your teleportation technique, bro? Maybe it really is. Maybe it is just verbatim the theory that, oh, you can only use RCT fuel techniques. What's the opposite of teleportation? I have no idea. But with that being the case, I mean, I guess just staying still, we see that Gojo opens his domain super duper big. And since he does know that it's 200 meters, this actually is a pretty decent strat, at least in my opinion. Like, if you just make your domain size 201 meters, you're in a vacant city. Why not? Go ahead, do it. Just make that gigantic separate space. Especially when you're Gojo, you have the cursed energy to spare. So it does seem like a solid plan, but immediately things start to chip. And with that being the case, it seems like Gojo, Kashimo, uncross your arms, bro. Kashimo got me nettled. Kashimo got me nettled. I'm nettled. I'm so nettled right now, bro. Bro, Kashimo's posted up like this. Like he really about to do something. Like he really about to get active. Kashimo, bro. Bro's got me. Kashimo, bro. First, I was on your side like this. I was proud of you. I was proud to be one of your supporters, dog. Now you got me like this, bro. Now you got me like this. Kashimo, if you don't unfold them arms, boy. Scary boy. Scary boy. Scary boy. Oh no. You know, if Gojo loses, I'll go fight the strongest. It's only like he's used 2 domains back to back. Only like he's super fatigued. Can't wait to use my super secret technique while I'm fresh. Sorry, I hope y'all can tell I'm messing around when I talk about Kashimo. I love the dude still. And we do get to see, well, it seemed like Gojo was going for the giga girth in terms of his domain size. Shock horror. He actually did quite the opposite. Gojo shrinks his domain down to the size of I'm not sure how big it is. have no clue how large that thing is, but it doesn't look that big. It looks smaller than the shrine. So, what even happened? We don't have break next week, so we're gonna find out. So Gojo went for the opposite effect. Maybe, so the only reason I think this could, but then again, how are they small? But we know domains do constitute separate spaces, right? It is a thing. So maybe it is like, maybe it's a whole planet in there. We don't know. Maybe it really is an unlimited void in there. And thusly, Gojo's plan is, oh, I'm just going to make the domain so super compressed that the shell is basically uncrackable, bro. Like, my cursed energy is so thick throughout the shell that even if you were to use domain, you can't crack it. So something's going to happen. Something's going to get active. If I do have to say who left the, at least based on these raws, of course, I'll probably do a poll once the actual chapter comes out. But if I had to say who came on top based on these raws, I think while what Gojo did was impressive, what Sukuna did was also impressive. So, like, my cop-out answer is that they both did equally, because both got their licks in. Gojo got that mean left hook in on Sukuna. Sukuna played Gojo again and changed his domain conditions while, actually, no, I'll actually give Sukuna the edge of this chapter. Mainly because using your domain and using the information you got from Gojo literal years ago, well, not years in our time, but like months ago in the past to know about the whole contact rule and using that to switch the domain rules up to crack the reverse curse conditions of Gojo's, that's way too cold. That's way too cold. And the fact that Gojo had to pull out this improvisational stuff again, that's cool. That's cool. I really like that. So overall, Omega W chapter. Even with me clowning on Kashimo, the chapter is still really, really good. I am hoping though, I want to see some 10 shadows. I want to see. I'm gonna keep complaining about it till we get it, because I feel like we have to get it. If 10 shadows really doesn't get used against Gojo at all, that feels like such a waste. I'm not gonna lie, it feels like an absolute waste. And I do think, if anything, due to the special nature of this little mini domain, I think we are gonna see Maharaga or something like that. We're gonna see the 10 shadows somehow, because there's no way Gege did all this buildup of Megami versus Gojo. No way Gege brought up the fact that a 10 shadows user and a limitless user slayed each other in the past. No way we're doing all this. No way Sukuna went out of his way to switch bodies just for us to not see the technique used by him against Gojo specifically. Sure, it's probably gonna get used against the fodder, but I don't care about the fodder. I don't care about Panda. Panda sucks. I'm sorry, I just know there are a bunch of Panda fans in my comment section that are like, stop it, stop slandering him. Why don't you slander Momo or somebody? And I'm like, it's just Panda, I don't like him. But overall, Omega W chapter. However, that's what I think. That's what I think on the spoilers. What do you guys think? Are you guys excited for chapter 227 to come out officially? Are you excited for chapter 228? Because I am. I need it right now. What's the next, whatever next Wednesday is, make it that right this instant, because I need answers. However, that's what I think. Please, what you guys think in the comment section down below. Thank you so much for watching. Remember to like, share, comment, and subscribe. Make sure the notifications to miss out on any videos that come to the channel. Also, I do have a Patreon down below. Use for as low as $1 a month. You think like exclusive videos, early content, and more. Also, now become a member of the channel for as low as $3 a month to get the same perks and more. Now, thank you so much for watching once again, and I hope you guys have a wonderful day. This is Zach with the pencil, writing off.